We need to talk about Connor Bedard. And if you don't know who Connor Bedard is, let me catch you up to speed. Connor Bedard is a Canadian junior hockey player who currently plays for the Regina Pats in the Western Hockey League. In his 105 games in the Western Hockey League, he's accumulated 192 points and 90 of those being goals. But we're not talking about just any goals. We're talking about goals like these.
Bedard to bring him up for Regina. 1-on-2, step by the defenseman. And he scores! Oh my! Does it get any better than that? Connor Bedard.
Beautiful source to describe a lot of these plays, Brad. An ankle breaker on Sutter comes in and he shoots the puck with his stick through the legs and it goes in.
Safe to say he's going to be a stud on an NHL team in the future. It's funny that I don't mention that he's on an NHL team yet, because he's only 17 years old. And on top of his already incredible career in junior hockey, in the 2023 World Juniors at the time of recording this, he has 14 points in 3 games. And right after I finished recording this video, Bedard would hit this crazy overtime winner in the quarterfinals against Slovakia.
Bedard back with her. Slides it again. Bedard talks right overtime winner!
Now we all know that he's a good hockey player, but is he NHL ready yet? Well, in today's NHL 23 video, we're going to be seeing how many Connor Bedards it takes to win a Stanley Cup. We are back inside NHL 23 season mode, and as you can see, I substituted out the Chicago Blackhawks for the Berlin Bedard show. And as you can see, Berlin is a pretty bad team. But there is one silver lining, and that's the man himself. Now, since Connor Bedard is only 17 years old, I had to recreate him inside NHL 23 and make him a little bit older so he can play in the NHL. And these are his stats that I gave him if you want to pause the video and take a look at him. And these are also his X factors. And if the Berlin Bedard show doesn't win the Stanley Cup, we're going to add an exact copy of the Bedard I made, and we're going to simulate another season. And I won't stop until the Berlin Bedard show wins a Stanley Cup.
Oh shit, here we go again.
We are now done the first season of this simulation, and the Boston Bruins won the Stanley Cup. If it was no surprise, the Berlin Bedard show missed the playoffs, finishing last in the Central. They finished with 32 points and a record of 12, 62, and 8.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Honestly, that's a lot more wins than I thought they were going to get. Connor Bedard finished the season with 41 goals and 28 assists for 69 points. Nice. What isn't nice is that he finished with a minus 52, and he actually grew 4 overall to an 88 through the season. But since the Berlin Bedard show didn't win the Stanley Cup in year number 1, you know what that means. Time to go to year number 2. Year number 2, and Connor Bedard has a little bit of help on his line now. Connor Bedard.
Whoa.
I'd also like to point out that in the first year, I accidentally had Connor Bedard as a left-handed shot. I changed it to right, and he'll be right for the rest of the seasons. So it's time to simulate year number 2 and see if the Berlin Bedard show has what it takes to get to the playoffs and win the Stanley Cup. Let's go. Season number 2 of the Bedard show is now done, and somehow the Bedards did worse together than the one did last year, as they only got 9 wins this year. The Bedard show finished last again in the Central Division with 22 points, a record of 9, 69, and 4. However, the Bedards together both put up 88 points each, and their plus minus was a lot better than it was last year. And the Stanley Cup champions is the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, okay.
It's time to bring the third Bedard in and start season number 3. Year number 3, and the head coach actually made a kind of interesting decision. Instead of playing all 3 Bedards on the top line together, he's spreading them out and putting one on the second line. Let's see if that helps towards the Berlin Bedard show getting to the Stanley Cup playoffs, or at least winning more than 12 games. Well, year number 3 is over, and the Bedard show actually won more than 12 games. They won 15.
Oh, hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
The Bedard show yet again finished at the bottom of the Central Division with 37 points, a record of 15, 60, and 7. The trio of Bedards went off again as they finished with 89, 87, and 85 points. However, their plus minus went down again as the second line Bedard finished with a minus 54. And the Los Angeles Kings won the Stanley Cup. Now, year number 4 is going to be interesting. Are we going to see a trio of Bedards on the top line, or are we going to see a pair on the top 2 lines? Let's find out.
We interrupt this program for an important news announcement.
The coach of the Berlin Bedard show has declined to play the Bedards unless you hit that subscribe button. On this channel, you can find tons of NHL 23 content, including videos, shorts, and live streams. Oh my God! So if you're a fan of NHL 23 or even just hockey, hit that subscribe button down below. This is the place to be. Year number 4, and we have a top line full of Connor Bedards +1 on the second line. Now I'm excited to see how this top line of all Connor Bedard does, so let's get simulating. Well, it's evident that the Bedard Show team is getting better as we're up to 22 wins now. However, they still finished at the bottom of the Central Division with only 49 points. One of the Connor Bedards on the top line though finished with 103 points. All 3 on the top line finished a point per game, and the one on the second line was only 3 points shy of point per game. And the Cup champs are the Anaheim Ducks?
What?
Well, we're going into the 5th year of the simulation, and it's evident the Bedard Show team is getting better. Let's see if this is the year they make the playoffs. And at year number 5, the top 6 is starting to get pretty filthy with 584 overall Connor Bedards. Time to see what those 5 Bedards have in store for us. Let's get simulating. Well, this year the Bedard Show took a step back as they finished with 1 less win than they did last year. However, all 3 Bedards on the top line finished with 100 points.
Jesus Christ.
Now that we've simulated 5 seasons, I'm going to keep on simulating until something crazy happens. We have some exciting news in year number 10. Yeah, year number 10. On top of the 9 Connor Bedards in the top 9 for the Berlin Bedard Show, Connor Bedard has tried his turn at goalie.
Oh, hell no!
And not only has that worked for Berlin as they have 45 wins on the season, but they also finished in a playoff spot. So let's get into the playoffs and see how Berlin does. Well, in the first round of the playoffs, Berlin played Nashville and they lost in 5 games. Let's keep on simulating. We are back in the playoffs in year number 12, and Bedard's taken another position change. On top of the top 9 forwards and starting goalie, Bedard has now decided to play defense.
Whoa, calm down, Jamal.
And because of that, the Bedard Show finishes with 103 points and 2nd in the Central. Are they going to have a better performance in the playoffs in year number 10? Let's find out. Berlin took on the Dallas Stars in the first round and beat them in 6 games. Now they're taking on the Blues in the semifinals. And Berlin takes down the Blues in 5 games, and they're now taking on that other Connor guy in the conference finals. Connor McDavid was no match for Connor McBedard in the conference finals, so now it's Ottawa in the Stanley Cup finals. Game number 1 goes Ottawa's way as they shut out Connor Bedard and win 4-0. The Bedards bounce back in game number 2 and take this one 4-2. Series is tied at 1. And another 4-goal performance by the Bedards in game number 3 to go up 2-1 in the series. A 3-0 shutout by Connor Bedard puts the Bedard Show 1 win away from the Stanley Cup. Can they do it? Yes, they can. After 12 years of simulating and 12 Connor Bedards on the same team, they were finally able to win the Stanley Cup. So with that said, do you think Connor Bedard is the best prospect in the NHL? Let me know down below in the comments. And while you're down there, hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and also subscribe if you want to see more NHL 23 content. My name is Zoo. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Or at least winning more than 12 games.